Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, July 4th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is my life is the revolution evolution. And truly, how each of us live, walk, feel, and even think our way through our lives is all part of the evolution revolution. So, happy Independence Day. I give pause to that because I know things feel wonky out there, and also I truly believe all of us must, even more so, embrace the spirit from which the United States was founded on, the spirit of independence, and maybe even a little bit of that rebel energy, right? And what a day for rebel energy, as we have Uranus finishing up in the sign of Taurus, and in just a few days, on Monday, we'll be moving into Gemini. But today, we have Venus and Uranus conjunct early in the morning at 29 degrees Taurus, which feels like it's setting off a day of, interesting energies. And we also have Neptune going retrograde today. So we also have the moon moving into Scorpio. So it's a day. We actually have even more fascinating, I feel like, than this Venus-Uranus conjunction is a really fast-moving yod. But it is moving, well, it's pointing at the moon in Scorpio with Venus, curious Venus in Gemini, and then Neptune and Saturn in Aries feeding in. And the moon in Scorpio, like where the yod is pointing at, is like, hey, things have been hidden. Things have been secretive. Those things are being shown to us. But it's up to us what we do with the information. And this is where we get those layers of Scorpio, right? We have the scorpion layer of the Scorpio, which lashes out, it attacks, it's scared, and it feels like it needs protection. We have the eagle, which flies high and sees things from that higher point, but still comes in for a kill, right? And then we have the phoenix of Scorpio, which is like, where is my power in this? And completely dies and rebirths itself, which is a really interesting energy, right? But it's like self-contained, and I think that is part of the transformation we're working with. And we'll talk about these other energies feeding in. Let's start, well, I guess we already got started with that moon in Scorpio, right? So moon in Scorpio doing its thing. The Venus-Uranus conjunction happens exactly at 5:45 a.m. Pacific time. Now I have to say, I feel that aggro intensity building, and Uranus loves to push the buttons. It loves to show you where you have some work to do, where you have some personal revolution, evolution, maybe where there's a little breakdown that leads to breakthrough. And because of Venus, this can be in relationship, this can be around your self-worth, this can be around things that you value, this can be around money, this can be about like what you are producing and bringing forward, this can be about all of the above. So chances are you have already felt the aggro rising, but keep in mind that yod energy, which is like, where are you being called to transform these energies? Where are you called to phoenix it? And if you end up in the scorpion, if you end up in the eagle, that happens too, right? But let's see where we can phoenix this energy. So very soon after that conjunction, which feels like it has like, I don't know, I was laying in bed thinking about this last night, and I was like, is this the last connection before Uranus moves into Gemini? And I was like, no, the moon's still gonna make a connection. The moon's gonna pull on it and make a little oppositional energy, but it's one of the last connections. And this to me is like a double whammy of Uranus being like, hey, before I move into the sign of Gemini, which is gonna have you shiny, squirrel, and a lot of frenetic and stimulating energies, what do you hold dear? What is important to you? What are your values? And being able to connect with those energies. It feels double because Venus is one of the rulers of the sign of Taurus. And so having Venus and the Taurus energy, it's kind of focusing and highlighting on that. And so it's really important to kind of like spend some time. What do I value? What's important to me? And lean into that. Now you're going to get a taste of what it feels like to shift from that earth to air energy. Remember, we talked about that and like being grounded, and then whew, here it is, light and airy, and I'm like a kite. And wow, look at all those options out there. So Venus in Gemini loves options. Venus in Gemini loves to flirt. Being that you may have been triggered and challenged by your relationship with that Venus-Uranus energy, I encourage you to give it a few days before being like, I'm done. Although sometimes Uranus transit can be the door slamming, right? But just saying, that combination is a little intense. So here we go with Venus into Gemini. And one of the things that we can love with Venus and Gemini is the energy of curiosity, and lean into the things that make us curious, the things that spark interest or spark joy. Meanwhile, maintaining a connection, I don't want to say a grip, a connection to that which you value. Because with Gemini, we're meant to learn more things and expand, right? Like, and okay, and we might change from those things. That's part of the energy of Gemini. It brings change because we get new stimulation, we get new information. So hold on loosely, but don't let go when it comes to your values as Venus shifts into Gemini. That being said, Venus today is going to be at 0. And 0 always has a little bit of a graceless energy. So again, coming off of the Venus-Uranus into Venus 0, you might just feel a little crabby cranky. and Sun in Cancer hitting the evolution revolution degree. That's just going to add to the little bit of the crankiness that you may be feeling. So be aware of that. But at the same time, notice what is exciting to you. Notice what is stimulating to your mind, and see if this is a rabbit hole that you would like to, explore. Moon in Scorpio is then making some of the next connections. We have the moon squaring Pluto. This is again still morning time. If you are setting off fireworks, please be aware with this energy. This can bring up fear. That was not meant to bring fear, by the way, but just grounded awareness, because these energies are a lot. But moon in Scorpio squaring Pluto, you may see all the things out there that need shift, that need fixing, that need the transformation. But please, please don't forget to phoenix yourself in and through these energies. But again, that feels kind of cranky. What's nicer is the afternoon lightens up somewhat. Venus is going to be at 0 for all day, so there's going to be that. The moon and Jupiter are going to connect. Did I say that was lighter? I don't even know. Watery energy, strong feeling energy with Jupiter in Cancer. But again, I maintain, if you allow yourself to feel and move through it, you don't necessarily have to get stuck there. Neptune is going retrograde in the afternoon. Now, you may feel it if Neptune's on you, if you are a Pisces, if you're specifically very sensitive to the Neptune energy. And we all might feel it to some extent, because while Independence Day, I like to call it Independence Day, because I really like, as a Sagittarius, the spirit of independence, right? The spirit of like, I'm gonna do things my way. I'm gonna align with my higher values, my code of being. But with Neptune going retrograde, any planet retrograde is a pull within, right? And we have this now in the sign of Aries. It will be retrograding back into Pisces. That'll be October 22nd that it moves back into Pisces. And I believe by the end of January, I think it's January 26th, is when it's done in Pisces and when it's going to move back into Aries. But for now, it's kind of pulling us within and asking us to explore who we are on a spiritual level and recognizing ourselves as spirits in this human body, and recognizing that it's important to align that in how we take our actions. So Neptune retrograde, again, with all the other energies, it really might pull us into kind of a more introverty kind of day. Moon in Scorpio is then going to connect to Mercury. That's going to be in the evening, and to Mars. Oof. This is just a very interesting day. So Moon in Scorpio squaring Mercury. Did I see Moon and Mercury? Moon in Scorpio squaring Mercury in Leo energy can bring some intensity to the surface that we may have to wrestle with. It also could bring intense conversations up as well. Mercury in Leo is a reminder to stay connected to heart, but Mercury in Leo can also really strongly divert to ego. It can also strongly divert to wounded child. So see where you can keep bringing it back to heart. And again, with Venus at 0, that might be important. Moon also is going to connect, like I said, to Mars. Mars in Virgo. Oof, the Scorpio-Virgo combination is always interesting. If you are still hanging out with somebody, you may be trying to help them with their Phoenix process. Is that the right way to say it? You might see inside their soul and be like, this is what's wrong with you. This is what you need to do to change your life. Again, just a lot of intensity. So be aware of that if you are connecting with anyone through the day. I know I usually like to talk about this weekend, but I really feel like the biggest thing this weekend is going to be this buildup of Uranus finishing in Taurus. And so just, again, take time to ground, take time to align with your values. Those are probably the two main things that I would really focus on as we move through this weekend. So, speaking of grounding, be here now. We have the Be Here Now card, right? So, taking time to be present, breathe, watch your inner Phoenix process. We do have the Maturity card in reverse. So that's interesting. So, you may not necessarily have your most mature self with you at all times in this. I do love the Rebel card because I just feel like the spirit of it. And this is the Emperor, right? Emperor energy in traditional tarot. So the Emperor energy, again, like, has a sense of authority to it. And I do believe that's something over the last few years that the universe was really trying to hone in for us. So where can you take that personal authority back and take aligned actions? I love this because there are chains being broken here. And that to me feels like maybe some ancestral patterns that do not serve getting shifted in this revolution, evolution energy. We have the Receptivity card, Queen of Cups. So we do have some strong watery energy with the moon moving through Scorpio, the sun and Jupiter in Cancer, and then North Node in Pisces. I'm like, is there anything else in Pisces right now besides the North Node? No, only the North Node in Pisces. But still, though the watery energies are watering. Final card is Nothingness. This is a card that reminds us of spiritual law. And I think that goes hand in hand with our values. All of us have an inner blueprint that understands and knows spiritual law. And it's not something that's necessarily taught in schools, but if you can align with that, that card promises beautiful potential. The last card from the Deep Place, which I'm not going to read today, is Journey. But what came through is part of one of my favorite songs. I love the song Amazing by Aerosmith. So many lines. One of them I bring forward often, which is like, remember, the light at the end of the tunnel may be you. But it says in the song, life's a journey, not a destination. And I think a lot of times we try to destination hop, right? Like, I just want to be there already. I just want to be there already. We are on a really interesting journey of change right now. Like, be here now. Be in the change. Be the change. Recognize even if you are not consciously being the change, you still are. So you might as well get conscious about it so that you can help form the new structures that are forming. So I'm going to leave that there. Whew! Please take it easy today. Please ground. Please be gentle on yourself. And may the odds be in your favor. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And may your guiding light be strong. And know that you can trust your process. Namaste.